of earth. Lucifer, Lucifer, dawn of the morning. Lucifer, Lucifer, dawn of the morning. I'm gonna chase you out of earth. Lucifer, Lucifer, dawn of the morning. Lucifer, Lucifer. Lucifer, Lucifer. Lucifer, Lucifer, dawn of the morning. Lucifer, Lucifer, dawn of the morning. Lucifer, Lucifer. Lucifer, Lucifer, dawn of the morning. I'm gonna chase you out of earth. Lucifer, Lucifer, dawn of the morning. Lucifer, Lucifer, dawn of the morning. I'm gonna chase you out of earth. Lucifer, Lucifer, dawn of the morning. Lucifer, Lucifer. Lucifer, Lucifer.
What's up, everybody? Oh man, I hear. What is going on with my headphones, Slim? Did I got this thing plugged in properly? I sound horrible. Get this microphone ready. What's up, everybody? This is Hold on. Let me hold on. God damn it. See, this is what happened when you work at a damn black radio station. You get bootleg ass shit. I bring in the good headphones. Oh, you ain't gonna blame it on my headphones, goddamn. These are good Dre beats. Ooh, no, the fuck you didn't. Let me see if this shit sound any better. Okay, this pussy ass shit sound better. I'm in bootleg ass radio station, so fuck it. This is TJ, the Chicago kid. This is Streetz Iz Talking Radio. I'm back. Y'all miss me? Fuck no, y'all didn't. Good afternoon, everybody. As you can see, today I am alone again. As you could see from the collage that I put together in the beginning, that my guest last week, Denise the Beast, I think I scared her off. We had a conversation this weekend. She was just like, she's like, you cuss too much. I'm like, so? Shit, what the fuck you think? No, I ain't mad at Denise. I'm not mad at her. That wasn't like the first incident with the first guest that I was supposed to have, Miss Bella Nightingale, who called me, 7 minutes before the show talking about some motherfucking, she had got, gave somebody $30,000 for a video game, and it was a $3 million deal. No, $30 million deal. You was here when, yeah, she, $30 million deal, and then after I got off the phone, I never heard from her ass again. And she wasn't like Kissy. Kissy is, I think she has something else going on, but you know, she's doing something different. You know, Denise is cool. I still love her to death. It's just that her Christian values just couldn't handle me using the word faggot and bitch. And you know, I respected what she was trying to get at, but I can't water down who I am, because if I do, then it ain't gonna be me. So y'all get the same asshole that you all have been getting for the last, this is week number 6 that we still here. Trump is still tolerating me because I don't know why. I got these pictures of him with these midget strippers. And his ass he don't want me to put his ass out there. Yes, man. Again, here we go again with the bullshit. 7 days later, 7 days worth of shit. I'm going to try to remember and catch up on. I have not smoked any weed this week, so my memory should be fresh. I'm lying. I smoked early this week. I ain't going to even lie. I got surgery next week, Joe. Yeah, I got surgery next Thursday, man. They going to put me under. clean all of this shit up out my nose. I gotta go for my pre-workout, my pre-op surgery in the morning. So I'm gonna put the GoFundMe link up. I'm put the GoFundMe link up for all you sympathetic people that want to just give money for stupid ass reasons. You all can just give money towards my recovery. I'm having what's called a polypectomy. I have nasal polyps because, you know, during my stay woke days, I wouldn't take the white man's medicine. In fact, I got a pocket of that shit right now that I'm going to take during the break that I forgot to take on the way here. That's probably why I'm sweating like I am. But I have to have a polypectomy because I have untreated allergies for so long, and then I lost my sense of smell. But there are certain medicine that they give me at night that I'm supposed to take that's supposed to reduce them. So I did take them the last couple of nights. And what happens with the polyps is I lose my sense of smell. So, you know, one day I was thinking, I can't have a lack of sense of smell and then I be eating some girl booty and she smelled like motherfucking a garbage truck smoothie and I not know it. Then I'm going home to talk to my kids and my kids is looking at me like they just stuck their face in the horse's ass. So I took the medicine the last 2 nights, and I get a faint sense of smell, right? It's called insomnia when you lose your sense of smell. So I stopped at Dunkin' Donuts to get me like a egg white flatbread before I came in, because you know that time we came in here and we was hungry as shit and we gave a real shitty show. So I wanted to make sure that I got something to eat. And bruh, look, it was a dude in front of me at Dunkin' Donuts in his truck, and he was so musty. I can smell him from my car behind him. So certain sense of smell I don't want to have, because Trump going downstairs to lock the door, because we are in a ghetto spot. And a couple of weeks ago, the rappers next door was getting into a motherfucking they was getting into a fight at next door. They was hollering, and Trump was like, man, you know, they just next door, they just hollering. No, nigga, rappers shoot each other. That's how they get famous. They either get shot or they wear a dress. And I'm going to talk about that today briefly, because I don't want to get too much into it. It's probably running along the things of how, you know, black males are being emasculated and drugged up in order for us to be distracted and ineffective in solving our problems. But I got a lot that I want to go over in the first album. What up, cuz? My cuz Edward, who always watches my show, he loves white women. So white women, if you want a black dude that you know, he don't play basketball, he don't drink malt liquor, he drink Guinness. My cousin Edward, he brought this white girl to my house. My cousin Edward is like 5'11", 6 foot. He brought this motherfucker was like 6'7" to my house. Big tall white motherfucker. Big tall white gargantuan bitch from like the Amazon, the broad from Game of Thrones, the tall blonde chick. He brought her over to the house. So he laughing now because he know I'm talking about his pussy ass. So yes, we are up. I'm going to have a couple of topics in the first hour of the show. Then maybe CP3000 will call with the Locker Room Sports Report. I hope you're listening, Chris. I know your pussy ass ain't, because you fucking around for the first hour. You better call on time today. And then the second hour, I want to be a little more serious. And I know I joke and everything, but it's something that I wanted to talk about. It's from a book that a brother gave me from the Nation of Islam, and he knew it was going to piss me off. It's a small pamphlet, and it's right here. It's called How White Folks Got So Rich, the Untold Story of American White Supremacy. This is not about world white supremacy. This is about American white supremacy. All you white people who just might so happen to come across this show and be listening, if you want to know how you have white privilege today, I'm going to help try to explain it to you, because apparently you all don't understand. It's something much different from what you're being told. Also, black people, if you want to see to it and not hear cliche things about what we could do to make our community better, because we're never going to be able to defeat white supremacy as far as destroying it all together, but we can build a system to stand up against it. And it ain't going to be consistent of us marching and blocking traffic and shit. So we're going to take a break right now. I'm going to get myself together because I was running late. This time it was me. And I'm going to add some more people to this shit and put this damn pussy ass link to the group here. Get started on my Instagram shit. And then we going to be back, and then we gonna chop it up. So this is, and I want y'all to call in today, please. Stop letting me rant for 2 hours. I need y'all to help me out. It ain't like I'm asking y'all for fucking money. I'm going to ask for your money at the end of the show. But I need y'all help. You know, call in. I know y'all can, some of y'all can go to the fucking bathroom and call in the show. You do it for Steve Harvey, big mustache having ass. You can do this shit for me. So the number is 301-288-3100. We're going to come back from the break. I'm going to start on this little pussy ass shit that I done wrote down that I want to talk about, and then we'll go into the real shit. This is your boy TJ, the Chicago Kid. This is Streetz Iz Talk Radio on the RIP Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Watch me take off. Let me pull up in the phone, watch me take off. These niggas stay packed with the 8-ball. Man, I'm smoking on the perk by the takeoff. Now I don't even chase lick, I don't chase hoes. Tell her come over, got the promethazine mixed with the soda. Tell her come over, got the promethazine mixed with the soda. Better take off. Better take off.
When I pull up on these niggas, better take off. I ain't even gotta wait, what's the play call? And I charge these niggas like I play ball. I don't see these hoes, guess I'm Ray Charles. And I hate these niggas like I'm Adolf. Pull up in the all white with the face off. I just use these niggas for their face, y'all. Got the wrist ice up like it's cake, y'all. Pilly never trippin' on a nigga, better switch him. Got a plug in Philly, but I roll it, never switch him. Bitches talking money, but I never see it with him. If you know you about that bread, then you see me with him. I don't really need him, but I usually gotta get him. And he like it when I write his face like a rhythm. What's the riddle? Talking loud, but you packing little. Pilly motherfucking May, I ain't even gotta say shit. Bet I take a nigga's main bitch on some gay shit. Let me pull up in the foreign, watch me take off. These niggas stay packed with the 8-ball. And I'm smoking on that perk, about to take off. I don't even chase lick, I don't chase hoes. I tell them come over, got the promethazine mixed with the soda. Now that they know us, bitches they talking real reckless, get hit with the cobra.
In this A1, I just took off. And I jump out the whip like I'm crisscross. Niggas really wanna know what the risk costs. I just cop another ice with a dip frost. And I cop another piece like I'm Islam. Put a nigga on the ground like a futon. And we never on the bench cause we gang strong. And you know she get brain cause her head's strong. Yeah. Niggas talking about the beef, but I'm loco. I make a nigga hard to breathe like a chokehold. And I gotta keep the white like the cocoa. And you know I like the girls with the culo. And you know they love me, call me Papi Chulo. Man, I gotta keep the fire like Diablo. And I go anywhere with a dope go. I know, Henny got me moving slow-mo. I smoke, got me fucking up the ozone, yeah. Let me pull up in the phone, watch me take off. These niggas stay packed with the 8-ball. Man, I'm smoking on the perk by the takeoff. Now I don't even chase lick, I don't chase hoes.
I tell her come over, got the promethazine mixed with the soda. Now that they know us, niggas they talking real reckless, get hit with the cold. I tell her come over, got the promethazine mixed with the soda. Now that they know us, niggas they talking real reckless, get hit with the cobra.
And we are back. This is your boy TJ, the Chicago Kid. Streetz Iz Talking Radio on the RIP Radio Network. I am back. I done added some of y'all to this little pussy ass chat shit that we got going on. Little pussy ass chat shit. Look, let's go ahead and get this out the way. I'm an asshole. I say a lot of fucked up things. I say a lot of offensive things. But one thing you won't say is I'm a liar. And you know, I gotta start this off by saying that yes, Mark is live. Yes. I got some people that's asking me about the show. I don't know why people feel like they want to text me. But look, I got I'm petty as shit, yo. I was on the computer yesterday on Facebook, right? And this little dude, for some strange reason, he wanted to try his hand. And I don't know what got into him. You know, he could have had a bad day or some shit, but he wanted to start cracking jokes. And, you know, I'm all for a good roasting session. I don't have no problem with it. But what happens is, Trump, I'm sending you this picture because when you get it, I'm going to need you to cue it up because I need people to understand what's going on. He tried to jump on me yesterday, bruh. He started talking mad cash shit. And when it's jokes, I'm okay with you cracking jokes on me. Just make sure that they good, right? Make sure you give me some good material because I like laughing at myself harder than anybody when a joke is good. But he tried to be personal and mean-spirited about it. And look, everybody that knows me knows that, you know, when I was growing up, I was the little dude. I don't look like the little dude now, but I was always like the second or the third smallest kid in the class. So when you're the second or third smallest kid in the class, you got to get bullied. And there's one or two ways you can get out of bullying. You can either be a great fighter or you got to be able to tell some jokes. And, you know, me being by myself, being raised in a single parent home, you know, my father was around, but, you know, I had to learn to tell the jokes. And that followed me from the time I was little, even up until now. And this dude jumped out there and, you know, he was calling me a liar, trying to pull up my shit on the internet. And I'm like, my man, did you not know that I'm a black belt in joke jitsu? That I am a master in roast food? I kick ass and fry cheese. So when this motherfucker started jumping out there, he got like a couple of profiles, and I tried to find him in a couple of profiles and couldn't. But what happened was his girlfriend, his fiance, ended up having pictures of him in her profile. In her, and I found this nigga. And boy, did he get it. Y'all want to see what this motherfucker look like who tried to crack jokes on me? Put that motherfucker up on the string. His name Greg. This big fat Coochie sweater in 2017 wearing motherfucker tried to crack on me, man. Look at that girl with that synthetic wig. That wig, boy, I swear to God. I mean, I talked about this dude for like 2 hours. He was upset. I mean, he gonna say, man, that's fucked up because I lost 50 pounds since that picture. I'm like, nigga, so? You still got about 200 to go. But yes, this is the tragedy of fucking with me on the internet, especially when I'm up late trying to work and I got the giggles and shit. I ain't gonna spend too much time on that boy because I done already gave him the complete unmitigated business. Let's see what else we got going on today. We got a lot of shit that's going on this week, so I'll start with the dickhead in charge, Donald J. Trump. What did Donald do this week? Well, Donald Trump was kindly reminded that there were 4 U.S. soldiers that were killed in the country of Niger, spelled Niger. I want to make sure I pronounce it correctly because some of you motherfuckers will just call it nigger. It's Niger. 4 U.S. Members of the United States Army were killed, And Trump never said anything about it. I think they had been, deceased for almost 2 weeks. And Trump had never even mentioned them. So what Trump does is, Trump likes to deflect, like, my man Jermaine Carson, calling you out, Jermaine. I done invited you to the show. I've been trying to debate your pussy ass ever since Trump been elected, and you keep ducking his wreck. So you all go pull up Jermaine Carson's profile and see who he is and tell him to come on to the show. He ain't working in the daytime. He work at night. And he can come on here, and I can just obliterate his ass and show he don't know what the fuck he talking about live. But Trump didn't say anything about these soldiers, and so he deflected. He said that no other presidents had called any of the families who had lost, a loved one via combat in the military, which you simply have to be a person with eyes and ears to know that that's a lie. Even Trump's most staunch supporters should know that that's a bold-faced lie. Because you got video of Obama and Hillary Clinton with soldiers coming in, the caskets coming in. And it's just like the dude just told a flat-out lie. Then you got his dickhead son, Don Jr. You know that I'm going to talk about this Harvey Weinstein thing in a second. But his son has just been going on, Hollywood about, Harvey Weinstein and all the allegations of rape, sexual assaults, and all kind of other improprieties. And it's like, dude, your father has been accused. Weinstein has been accused by what, 13 women? You got 15 women accusing your father, motherfucker. Like, where the fuck is your criticism of your daddy? And one of your father's accusers was underage. This dude talks about grabbing him by the hoo-hoo. He, this dude is just, he's just a strange cat, man. And, people get so upset about Donald Trump. And I just be like, what did he do this week? I'm not shocked. Donald Trump, y'all got to understand, Donald Trump is who he is. Only thing we could do is let this shit play out and let's see if the FBI, Robert Mueller, come up with enough evidence to get this guy out of here. But Trump is Trump. He's going to do what he's going to do, and that's just it. But I want to talk about the Harvey Weinstein case. Harvey Weinstein and his brother founded Miramax Pictures, and they made quite a few movies. They made the Lord of the Rings trilogy. They made Pulp Fiction, just a lot of movies. And all of a sudden, Harvey Weinstein, I guess it was Rose McGowan, some actress came forward and said that he had, I guess, sexually assaulted or raped her, or whatever the case may be. A lot of women have come forward. And here's the thing. I extend him the same courtesy as I would extend anybody accused. He's innocent until proven guilty. Just simple. I'm not saying that the women are lying. I'm not saying that the women are exaggerating what happened. I'm not saying anything. I'm not implying anything. But the same standard of justice that I apply to Bill Cosby behind his rape allegations, I'll give to Weinstein. I'll extend him that courtesy because I feel like we should be consistent if we're gonna do that. But here's the rub, and there's a rub. Now Rose McGowan went out to Ava DuVernay, the black female director, and it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty, the response. And you finally got to see black women, particularly black feminists, pushing back against white feminists. Like, yo, why are y'all always thinking that we're just disposable when you all want us to be? When you all have an issue, you all want us to join hands. When we have an issue, you all say that's you all's problem. Like, for instance, most recently, and I've said it on this show, Jemele Hill been tanked for 2 weeks. She was the feminist champion when she was going after Donald Trump, or she was the feminist champion, particularly when she was saying Cam Newton should apologize. Then she got sacked for 2 weeks, and the white feminists never came out to speak for her. So what Rose McGowan was saying was, I understand that, you know, there's some injustices for black people and injustices for black women, but, you know, we need to come together. It's always come together when they want you to get on to their shit. But when it's ours, we ain't got time. So when Jamel Hill got sacked for 2 weeks, they wasn't nowhere around. I'll take it back even further. When Leslie Jones was attacked on Twitter, when the cum dumpster Milo Yiannopoulos attacked her on Twitter, calling her gorillas and encouraging his followers to attack her, you know, Sister Girl, you know, and a lot of brothers came to her defense, but Sister Girl was like really, really attacked. And white feminists, again, nowhere to be found. Let's take it back a little bit further. When they had the Apple cloud hack and all the celebrities' pictures were coming out, their videos and their pictures was coming out. Jennifer Lawrence, you know, the darling of Hollywood, white actress, her pictures came out and the white feminists went ape shit crazy. It was a violation of her womanhood. You know, it was misogyny. Men are not speaking up. Blah, 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 blah. Right? Everything went ape shit crazy. All women should come together. When it's white females that have the issue, all women should come together. But then on the flip side, Jill Scott's account was hacked. And Jill Scott looks good naked. She's a married woman now, but she was thick girl or not, Jill Scott could get a mile's worth of But when Jill Scott's pictures came out, white feminists nowhere to be found. So at least it's good as far as I'm concerned. My hands ashy as shit. I look like Dr. Umar Johnson by the hands. That motherfucking hands be ashy as shit on them shows. But it's good to see black women and black feminists finally waking up like, yo, we ain't here for that. We're not just going to be there when y'all need us to be or when y'all want us to be. We're going to be there in solidarity with y'all when y'all in solidarity with us. So that was that, you know, Harvey Weinstein hasn't been charged with a crime. I don't think anybody has filed any lawsuits. And he's been dumped by his company. If you're going to be fair about it, do Harvey Weinstein just like you did Bill Cosby. Pull all them pussy-ass goddamn movies of his off motherfucking HBO and Showtime and Cinemax. You pull him out of the DVD stores. Give him the same fucking treatment that you gave Bill Cosby. I personally don't think Bill Cosby is wrong. That's an unpopular opinion. It's mine. No, it ain't a part of rape culture. It's just that I don't believe a bunch of old bitches that was getting high and getting drugged up in the 70s and doing couch casting and having fucking regret sex. Regret sex is not motherfucker. There's a lot of motherfuckers I fucked that I regret. I can't go back and say that I was sexually assaulted. There's some women I done had sex with after getting pissy drunk or smoking a lot of weed. I can't go back and say I had regret sex and call it rape. So anyway, I don't want to go into that. So, yes, he had the false claim. Trump had the false claim. They checked him on that. You know, it's just a matter of time before. You know, Trump is 70-plus years old. It's just he's fat. He's out of shape. And when situations like that, you just let nature play itself out. He going to die in his sleep, y'all. Just don't worry about it. All that bullshit he doing, he don't believe in nothing. He just going to die in his sleep. So, let's stop worrying as much about Trump. And moving on to the next thing. Oh yeah, as far as the Harvey Weinstein thing go, you had this Alyssa Milano, another white actress, come out with encouraging women to talk about their sexual assault and hashtag it Me Too. And of course, white people being the people that they are who love to appropriate things, thought that was just wonderful. But the Me Too hashtag and the Me Too movement was actually started by activist Tarana Burke about 10 years ago. And she had been talking about it, had been saying something about it, and they co-opted her shit and act like the brand. It was like Bo Derek's, you know, they call them Bo Derek braids or One of the Kardashian calling them box braids. Bitch, they are cornrows. We've been doing this shit for hundreds of thousands of years. And here it is, you all coming co-opting some shit that we've been had and trying to rename it. At least she didn't rename it, but, you know, whatever. You know, sexual assault and abuse amongst people is a problem. It's a problem particularly with women, but men, boys are sexually assaulted too. And that's going to be one of them shows where I'm going to have somebody to sit and just give me the game on that. You know what I'm saying? Because I had it happen to someone in my family. And immediately when I heard about it, I drug her ass down to the courthouse, to the state's attorney sex crimes office. This is real shit. I took her straight there. No question. Do not stop. Do not go. And it didn't really work out like I thought it should. And then she just left it alone. So a lot of times, ladies, and I say this as measured as possible, sometimes some of y'all play with that shit. I'm not saying my family member played with it. I'm just saying that she didn't take it as seriously once the rubber hit the road as she should have. And that puts me in a bad position because here it is, I'm stepping out there. And you know, in a lot of black families, people will know about it and don't take no action. And I chose to take action. And when I chose to take action, I took that action at the risk of being ostracized by certain members of the family because it's like, you know, well, why did you bring somebody outside into it? It's a fucking crime. Something needs to be done. And if everybody gonna stand around and twiddle their thumbs about it, I'm not. I'm gonna do something about it. And I took her down there, and they were like, because it had happened so long ago, or she couldn't really give it the details. I really don't remember the particulars. But after that, she was just like cool with it. And even to this day, she's still in the same house with the same person she claimed that did it. So I'm not gonna go into that. That's my personal business. I don't talk about my personal business. Not really. But that's that. I want to have that. I want to have that show on here. Also, Fox News came out and they was gunning on Weinstein. Man, they was gunning on Hollywood, talking about why did it take so long, and you know, why is it that Hollywood is finally not reacting to high, like Fox News, Fox motherfucking News, motherfucker, y'all paid out $13 million for Bill O'Reilly's harassments alone. 13 million. Who the fuck are y'all to talk? Roger Ailes had to quit right before he died, but Roger Ailes had to quit because of all the sexual harassment allegations. You got the one black dude that's in the has that economic show where he was having sex with the woman, and the white woman, he's married, and the white woman is saying that, yo, he molested me, or he assaulted me. Like, who are y'all to sit up there and judge anybody, especially regarding some shit like sexual assault? Get the fuck out of here. I don't understand the hypocrisy of people. I mean, I do, but then I don't. But anyway, moving on. The NFL. You been following that, bro? Yeah. You been following the NFL? Well, I haven't been following the games, but Aaron Rodgers is out. Aaron Rodgers was hurt, broken collarbone, out for the season. Guess what quarterback was born and raised in Wisconsin who don't have a job now? Who? Kaepernick? Yeah, Kaepernick. Kaepernick was born and raised in Wisconsin. He still ain't been signed. But what Kaepernick did a couple of days ago, was he filed a grievance for collusion against the league, stating that all 32 owners had conspired to keep him out of the NFL. Now, collusion, to those who are not familiar, is, from what I've heard from those in the legal field, attorneys, that collusion is not something easily proven. It's not something easily proven, but the interesting thing about this is Cap, who could have used the NFL Players Association to file that grievance, didn't. He filed it out of his own pocket. And what first appeared to be a money grab on his part, that he was suing him to get money that, he was missing, that's not what it's about. Kaepernick is suing to break the current collective bargaining agreement. The collective bargaining agreement is the agreement between the NFL owners and the players. That deals with safety, that deals with salary issues, that deal with pension issues, that deals with, you know, contractual obligations, that deals with, you know, fines, that deals with, you know, stuff in that regard. And the current collective bargaining agreement, as far as the players is concerned, is considered a very, very shitty one. The NFL Players Association is considered one of the weakest unions in sports, even though American football probably is the most popular in the United States. So they don't have any guaranteed contracts. You know, the owners are pretty much punking them. If there is anybody that will be considered $40 million slaves, it will be NFL players, black and white, but particularly black, especially we've seen what Jerry Jones said that he was going to do. So Colin Kaepernick is seeking to break that collective bargaining agreement. Now, the president of the NFL Players Association has stated in past interviews that more than likely when it expires in 2020 that the players are going to be locked out, meaning that it's going to be a strike, meaning that it could extend into the season. And owners pretty much prepare for that ahead of time. So I'm pretty sure the owners are gearing up for that strike to occur in 2020. But here's the interesting thing. If Colin Kaepernick is successful in his filing against the NFL, he could break that collective bargaining contract, meaning that all dice is off the table. So what you was prepared for in 2020, you got to deal with right now. You can strike right now. If he were to win today, the players can stop playing. I mean, I'm pretty sure they won't opt to because then they won't get checks. But they could stop today. And with the popularity of the NFL waning, with the protests, with the situation with the concussions, with the blatant racism that's going on in the league, if you cut it off right now, I mean, you can cut the owners off by the knees. Yeah, that would kill him if he were to win that, and because now the union goes back stronger. Like, hey, y'all didn't see this coming, so now instead of dealing with this in 3 years, you're gonna have to deal with this today. See, with collusion, your microphone, sir. Oh, yeah, how you own the fucking studio and you gonna try to talk to me like we just chilling? God damn. Hey, anybody want a job as the engineer or the owner of this station? Because I'm about to fire this motherfucker. I'm gonna fire him from the shit. And it's his shit. I say this shit every week. God damn it. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to know to see where that goes. Really is.
Collusion is something.
Yeah, you fucked me all up with that one.
Sorry about that. Collusion is something that has to be. I mean, he has to have proof in writing or some type of evidence that they all colluded or just two owners conspired to keep him out of the league. He has to have evidence. And for him to go and file that, I'm sure he didn't just file it blindly.
This is what I've been saying to everybody that's been talking about it. I'm like, look, dude, he didn't just decide that it would cost him thousands upon thousands to and he has Mark Gregorow's, who is a damn good lawyer. For him to just file it out of the blue, he's not just pulling that out of his ass. Yeah, there is something, and it was some verbiage in the filing, because I read it, that says that, you know, every GM and coach in the league has been ordered by the owners not to even give him a tryout. Now, that's in the actual filing. What would make him say that? What would make him say that if he didn't have the evidence?
He has to have something.
He has to have something
written down or recorded or something. Because everybody's saying, well, it's going to be tough for him to win. Well, why would he file unless he's a complete idiot and moron? In that case, he doesn't deserve to be on an NFL team if he's just filing it blindly. But he has to have some type of evidence and the confidence to go ahead and file it to know that I'm going to win this. Or he wouldn't have filed it.
Exactly. So the NFL had a meeting a couple of days ago with the owners, I guess representation from the owners and some of the players. He was invited by the players. He wasn't invited by the actual league. And he didn't go, which I wouldn't have gone either, because you're stepping into hostile territory. The fact of the matter is he's not a part of the NFL. So if he's not representing the interests as a player, then it's not really anything to talk to him about. Plus, he's just filed something against the league. And, you know, Jerry Jones and Steve Ross, the owner of the Miami Dolphins, the owner of the Cowboys, stated that going forward, that if any player kneeled during the anthem, that they would be benched, which pretty much mirrored the words of Donald Trump, short of calling him a son of a bitch. So when he did that, that's another thing that I'm saying, like, you know, that's two players. I mean, that's two owners that's saying the same thing. If you kneel, you got to go. And if anybody kneels and those owners decide that, hey, you're going to go to the bench, then to me, that would signal that those players that are benched as a result of kneeling during the national anthem, they signed on to Kaepernick's lawsuit, which makes it stronger. Because according to the NFL law, it has to have happened in 90 days. The action had to have happened within the last 90 days. The collusion, right. And it has to be not all 32. It just has to be 2 or more owners. Steve Ross, Jerry Jones. So they had the meeting and they went in. Roger Goodell, the owner, said that they were going to, they want the players to stand. You know, you got those two dickhead owners saying that if you don't stand, you're going to be benched. And when they came out of that meeting, the NFL backed the fuck down. So apparently the players that they met with got some nuts about them and say that, nah, we not going to do that. We're not slaves. We're not going to do that. So that's that issue there. Whew, man. It's interesting. It's very interesting. But if you have any questions, if you have any concerns about this issue, I know it's a lot of y'all listening. Shit, we almost up 600 people, bruh. It's 301-288-3100. We're going to take a short break. I got to go blow my nose because I know y'all see my nose is all fucked up. 301-288-3100. When we come back, I'm going to talk about the contents of this book, How White Folks Got So Rich, The Untold Story of American White Supremacy. I'm going to text Chris Parker, CP3000, and ask him, is he coming in? Or, I mean, is he going to call in to give his little brief shit because the NBA season started? Brendan Hayward got a fucked up break last night. Oh, man, it made me drop the weights in the gym last night when I saw that.
You mean Gordon Hayward?
Gordon Hayward, Brendan Hayward, same motherfuckers. Yeah. This is Streetz Iz Talk Radio. Get your pen and your papers out. I'm going to tell you some shit. It's going to be deep. I'm going to even try not to curse for this remaining portion of the show. I'm going to be pathetically unsuccessful, but you're not going to be able to say I didn't try. This is Streetz Iz Talk Radio. BJ, goddamn. TJ the Chicago Kid. I stole that dude's name. On the RIP Radio Network. We'll be right back.
Woo. See, this hip hop shit is a lifestyle, baby. Shit we walk, shit we talk, it's a way of life. I got some shit I just want to say, you feel me? Let's go. This my letter to Hove. First off the album you dropped was dope. That 444 gave us lyricists hope. Seemed like the only dose of hip-hop we get is Kendrick Cole, some Logic, some Chance, but not from a street point of view. In this new day and new age, rappers with their new waves, stumbling and mumbling other shit that they say. I agree with you, Jay. I've been saying everybody sounding the same as lames, fucking up the game, but who am I? I'm just a rapper from Baltimore that lost 2 record deals, so I must be hating right before you was flipping them paintings. You was straight from the oven with it. Niggas couldn't do nothing with it. Niggas holding stacks of their ears, jigga trying to be you. You might disagree, but look at it, that shit is true. See the blocks you hustle on is now in the trap. You floss, we flex. Politics is YouTube where I Paula Cristal sipping. The reason my VIP is sparkling now. Play Monopoly with real cash. You and Biggie now in strip clubs and fuck up a bag. This Axe 50, everybody wanna get high and have a good time. But whatever happened to classic albums? Since some good rhymes, you prove lyrics still matter. But ask Nas, but you trying to keep knowledge when he made still matter. R.I.P. the Prodigy made hip hop live on. You own title, the highest title, numero uno. But you making big pimpin' like Future, making Pluto. You had this rockin' platinum, made it switch back to gold. With commercial for more records sold. If you never made those radio hits, will we still call you whole? Remade Hard Not Life, cause Puff had it poppin' with the remakes back then. Yeah, and these are the bricks, yeah. Us niggas still taking deals, still. I mean, Rock Nation did a deal with Wale and Meek Mills, and they both signed to Ross, but you signed him. I mean, a worker gotta be a worker first to become a boss. Who own Bleak Masters? Who own Beans Masters? Who own Kanye Masters? Def Jam, I'm just asking. To own your own hove, it's a slow process, a hard thing to digest, and every day my niggas dying. I spoke with Emery, he told me bet on myself. I built with Stokey, knowledge is better than wealth. Shout out my nigga Witten, but here's the contradiction. If I ain't popping on the gram, then nobody wanna listen or hear the shit I'm spitting. Give me some recognition. I need likes over love so I can voice my opinion. So I'm stunning my IG pictures, get lit in a couple flicks, exploiting my life on live. We just trying to survive. We just American dreaming. Every day fucking new bits, and my Beyonce sister kicking me in the dick. It's niggas in Paris really robbing the Kardashians. Black China robbing Givens, Kim Kardashian. While all these dames Rockefellers and dashing. You the only rapper that own his masses and Calabasas laughing. Shit, a lot of us need them advances. Either that or we trapped taking penitentiary chances. Trying to advance shit. I know you trying to advances and enhance us and give us game. But we should be proud to get a record deal and not feel ashamed. I know I made Mama feel proud when I signed with your man. I shot my shit to the rock. Big face that told me you and Dane was having problems, and the rock was no longer solid. Met you in the Bahamas at the 06 Power Summit. My dog had told you I was the next one coming. For that top spot, you looked away and brushed them off and just laughed and said that's what they all say. I'm like, yeah, alright, okay. Did a record with no idea, it was a hip-hop classic. But around this time, South was running shit with that trap shit. Tried to push it as a single, but the label wasn't having that shit. See, the facts is you try to buck the system, you ain't got the power, they go shit, them crackers get rid of you. Look how hard Dame with the bat for y'all, and got blackballed. Sometimes you think too big, this industry make you feel small. You feel me, Jay-Z? Before I end this letter, I got a question. Would you still be Jay-Z if you ain't compromise your talent with business? Rock all them diamonds and flash you with streets, still be watching and feeling Jay-Z? You do it for the culture, to let a nigga know what it feel like when a nigga rotting in a roaster. But if you never cop the roaster and invest in the stock, would you be married to Beyonce, Nova Rock, and Oprah? Huh? Hope you're not taking this letter I wrote you with disrespect. Just some shit I was feeling, had to get it up my chest. Sincerely yours, boss man to God. P.S. You should do Watch the Throne 2 with Nas.
What up, everybody? I'm back. This is your boy TJ Chicago Kid on the RIP Radio Network. This is the Streetz Iz Talking Radio Show. I'm loud in here, boy. I'm loud in this biatch. Hey, look. Before I go into this, I just thought about something, and I had to make mention of it to my man Trump. Trump, there was this rapper. I didn't bring down a clip of his video because what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to publicize his music or publicize his work, which is garbage. But is this rapper? What's this kid's name? Rapper in a wedding dress. Hold on. I'm gonna get that in a second. His name is New Age Jerk Boy. New Age Jerk Boy, a rapper. Can you put that boy's picture up? The boy is rapping in a wedding dress. Talking about he married to the game. The girl is holding the gun. He got a gun, the rifle, the barrel of the gun in his mouth. Look, hip hop is something I grew up on, bro. You know, contrary to my youthful looks, I'm old. I'm old. I have grandchildren, right? I have adult children. And hip hop is not what it was what it was intended to be. Now, I don't want to sound like an old guy. I don't want to sound like the old nigga that's always talking about the glory days. But let me just talk to you young brothers about something, and you sisters, you just listen in. They playing the shit out of y'all. They playing you like shit. Trump, as I speak, just bring up the random pictures and I'm going to talk about them. They playing you. You know, everything in life costs something. Everything worth having costs something. It's just a matter of what you're willing to pay for it. Now, these guys, 3 6 Mafia, great rap group. You know, they made a lot of hits. Hell, they won a Grammy, didn't they? I think they won a Grammy. Yeah, for Hard Out Here for a Pimp. They started this, they had a song that's called Sipping on Some Scissor. For those of you uninformed that don't know, Scissor is a combination of promethazine and Sprite. And what it does is It gives you that buzz, that junkie knot buzz. Basically, promethazine is an opiate. And we talk about this opiate addiction in America that white folks are being subjected to. It's an opiate. They promoted that, sipping on some scissor. This wasn't weed that they was promoting, which can be used medicinally. This was promoting you being a fucking junkie. Okay? Then you have this goofy Lil Wayne. Now bring him up. Lil Wayne went from an excellent, lyrical rapper to I mean, he went straight junkie. The 2 cups, the 3 cups, you have promethazine syrup in it. They call it scissor. You're smoking weed. He became a junkie. Now Lil Wayne is having a fucking seizure every other week because he's probably still addicted to that shit. This is what they pushed. Bring up Future. You have Future now. Sweet booty ass. Future, who got a lot of kids by different women like me, was, a lot of us fellas were sympathetic with him with Russell Wilson and Sierra. I fuck him now. Future raps about he's the trap god and God bless the trap niggas. Trap is the drug house where they sell dope to people in the community. He has a song called Molly Percocet, promoting this dope fiend rap. Disgusting. This is what's being pushed. Bring up another one of them characters. Bring up the young dude, King. I saw a video of this little light skin. First, he was getting chased out of the mall down in Atlanta, I believe. But then there's a video of him where somebody is interviewing him, and he is literally nodding off. Junkie nod. That's a screenshot of the video. He's in a junkie nod. He also has a video up of him buying dope. He's streaming while he's buying dope. It's nothing cool about it. Now, I'm going to get to that point in a second. It's absolutely nothing cool about it. And I don't know nothing that this dude makes, but the record labels pushing him out there. Bring up the next dope fiend. Got to be another. It's another dope fiend in that. Okay, now we ain't got the dope fiends no more. We got the cross dressers. Lil Uzi Vert. They say he's a rock star. Lil Uzi Vert has on a goddamn blouse. A woman's blouse. Dance very effeminate on the stage. Swear he's a thug, he's a killer. But at the same time, this is what's being pushed. I don't know. I think when his album came out, it sold like 7,000, 8,000 copies. But I'm pretty sure he's worth $1 million. They book him. They push him. They push artists like this. Then you have the other Gump. G-U-M-P. That's what we call them in Chicago, Gumps. You have Young Thug. No, Young Jock. This dude goes from, he was a rapper down in Atlanta. Guy with Diddy. You know what they say about Diddy. And he went from what you see on the left to what you currently see on the right. The effeminization of black men. Right before our eyes. This is what's being pushed. He's a star on Love and Hip Hop. They push him. He's a character. This old androgynous ass character. Look at this shit here. Young Thug. In a dress. In 2 dresses. He's a killer. He's a thug. But he's a cross-dresser. This is disturbing to me. I don't even know the last song that he made. All About the Money on T.I.'s album. But this is what's being pushed.
This is sick.
This is what's being pushed. You don't see this in no other communities. What is this trend about either our men being pushed or encouraged to be drug addicts or encouraged to be effeminate cross-dressers? Oh, I'm a thug. I got choppers, but, I wear Victoria's Secret pink from time to time.
Right.
Like, what is that? What? And it's, I know what it is because you have to destroy the threat in whatever way possible. I saw a video the other day of Dr. Wesley Muhammad on Vlad TV, and he was talking about how Depo-Provera, the birth control that's used on black women, well, women in general, but particularly black women, originally started out as it's documented that it started out as a inversion medicine that they would give to black boys. I'm glad you look like that. An inversion medicine to transgenderize boys, to reduce the testosterone level, elevate the estrogen level, make boys feel like girls. It is documented that the United States government has said that they had perfected a way of doing that. Why do you think that black men are being used as guinea pigs? See, people think I'm homophobic. I'm not homophobic. Let me just put this out there. My nephew is gay. He came out to me of all people. Of all people, he came out to me. If I'm so homophobic, if I'm so intolerant of gays, that wouldn't be the case. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, I'm okay with you being gay. If that's who you are, live your life. But respect yourself. And remember that you are a man. You're not a girl. And when I see him, I'm going to punch him in his chest for some fucking pictures he put up on his Instagram. Oh, yeah, I'm going to punch him in his fucking chest because we not rocking like that.
I'm not homophobic either, and I don't have anything against homosexuals, but I do have a belief, and I'm not going to take it to the Bible, but I will say this. There's a reason you were born with a penis and not a vagina. And for the women, too, who are homosexual, there's a reason you were born with a vagina and not a dick. So, I mean, this is just my personal belief, but you have to respect my opinion and what I believe in as much as you want us to respect how you are. But that's how I feel about it.
My issue is, don't push it off on me. Don't push it. Don't force it on me. You know, when they were saying the thing about, you know, Chick-fil-A and then all the gays went up to Chick-fil-A and they was kissing outside, that's just completely unnecessary to me. That's just too much.
Let me ask you something about the rappers we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about some of the females who still look at these dudes in these dresses and all this feminine stuff and still like, ooh, he's so fun, he's this? How do you feel about them?
It's what's being pushed on the culture. It's just what's being pushed. It's being what's pushed and what's normalized. So let me just put this out there. My other Facebook profile knocked for 30 days. I got knocked for 30 days. I made somebody upset with about what I said in this group, and it had to be somebody gay that did it. And what I noticed is that, okay, it's a group called, you know, I don't want to spend too much time on this pussy ass shit, but it's a group called Gray Sweatpants Matter. So you know what that's about. So what happened was the young girls, not the older women, the young girls started adding gay men, adding their gay friends. The gay men came in and the men stopped posting. I fucked that up. The men stopped posting. So the gay men started getting upset and started going off. So, of course, I said some shit that was inflammatory and somebody reported it. I don't know. But there's a generational divide on this issue. And it's being pushed in the school. It's being normalized in the school. And I understand that you want to educate children on sexuality because they have this confusion. And if they have the confusion, you should straighten them out. I get it. But what you're doing is you're normalizing a behavior that isn't, I guess you would say, not normal, because normal is according to societal standards. I would say it's natural. And they're normalizing it. So the younger generation is a little more tolerant. I will give them credit for this much. They're a little more tolerant for things that are different from other than themselves. But at the same time, you pushing an agenda off on them, they ended up bringing in the gay guys, and it went crazy. So I don't think it's the older generation of black women. They're more tolerable of gay men, but they're not gravitating towards them. Older black women tend to be pissed off about shit like sexual harassment, molestation, shit like that. But older black women will still gravitate and go to see R. Kelly. You understand what I'm saying? That's the killer part with me. They will use R. Kelly to condemn black men like a motherfucker, but at the same time, if you go to an R. Kelly concert, Mr. P on women, Mr. I like to fuck him as close to motherfucking the legal age as possible, his primary audience, maybe 98, 99% of his audience is black, older black women. So, in women going for this, I mean, I don't understand. Maybe we need some women to come on to the show. Hint, hint, if you're out there, you want to come out here. They can explain that, but at the end of the day, it boggles my mind. But again, and I'm gonna do a show in the future where I'm gonna just, with detailed maps and graphs, I'm gonna lay all of that out. But there is a systematic attempt to ineffectively eliminate the threat that could come from black men. And let me tell y'all something. If you are in the Chicano community, you're in the Latino community, y'all next. They coming for y'all after they come for us. So I don't want to talk about that too much. We'll get on that another time. You know, we could rap about that anytime, but the number is 301-288-3100. That's right. I said this shit right? 301-288-3100 if you have any questions, any calls. Let me see. Chris ain't called, so we'll move on from that. Today I want to talk about how white folks got so rich in America, the untold story of American white supremacy. Now, in dealing with this, I'm not going to go too in depth because, again, I only have 1 hour left of the show. Well, technically 55 minutes before Trump be giving me the signal. You know how his ass do. So white people and black people, there's some things that we need to get on the same page about. And it is honestly about what has happened in this country, what causes you all to be ahead, what causes us all to be behind, and, you know, how we can bridge that gap. If you're truly interested in learning, white people need to know. Y'all need to know you do have privileges. You do have privileges that stem from the first of you motherfuckers who savagely came to this island known as America and killed off all the Native Americans, or at least tried to. So let's talk. Currently in the United States, whites in America financially have been shown to have, white families have been shown to have at least $118,000 in assets, while African-American families are considered on average to have $5,600 in assets. Why? Is it because black people don't like things? No, it's because there's a system in place that has been permitted to exist since the inception of this country that will always have white people ahead of everybody else. Now, people can play catch up. For instance, the household income of the Asian community is the highest in the United States. Even though they have the lowest voter turnout, it's the highest. I said that last week. So you do have that particular demographic of people who can catch up with whites. But why isn't that black people have it? It's because you eliminate what you consider as the biggest threat to you. And we're going to get into the history of that. So let's start from the early beginnings. When whites came to this country, they decimated the Indians, decimated the indigenous natives of this country. They took their lands. They pushed them further west if they didn't kill them all. And you're talking about millions of acres of land. Malcolm X said that land is the basis for all independence. And it was land that the early settlers came to get in order to get away from England. You know, they came over here, they sent all their criminals, they sent all their people over here to colonize this land. And the people was like, wait a minute, England is all the way over there across the pond. We got this land. We're going to build this shit up. This is going to be ours. Fuck England. You take their land, And the book describes it so eloquently. So I'm going to read a portion of the book, just portions of the book. You know, you have the Indian land grab, and it says, right from the very start of Europe's colonization of America, the invading settlers were begging for British king to destroy the savages at a faster rate than he already was. The king's unwillingness to annihilate the Indians was one of the reasons the founding fathers wanted to separate from England. See, we keep talking about taxation without representation. That's what we keep thinking America's foundation was and why we fought against the British. But that wasn't the only reason. It was because King George, or whoever it was that was king at that time, did not want to send the troops to get rid of the Native Americans faster. We're going to read further. Their Declaration of Independence called them the merciless Indian savages, and their so-called Thanksgivings were little more than a feast to celebrate a string of violent racial massacres. So the early settlers had a problem with the king not sending people fast enough to kill these savages off who was fighting for their land. So like, in order for us to be able to properly address this issue, we're going to have to stop sending all our wealth over to England and use that to finance ourselves in order to fight these Native Americans off. You come in, you take the land, you decimate the Native Americans. Then after you decimate the Native Americans, there's a land grab. There's a grab. You ran these Indians off. You ran these indigenous natives off. There's a land grab. So with the land grab, you have what's called the Dawes Act. The Dawes Act was written by Massachusetts Congressman Henry L. Dawes. He drafted legislation enacted in 1887, which ordered the registering of Indians so that they could receive an allotment of their own land. So they had to register to get their land back. But here's the trick. Whites registered as Native Americans. Not only did they qualify themselves to get the land, they got the land for free. Remember what Malcolm X says, land is the basis for all independence. Then you have slavery. You've given these white people free land. You've run the Native Americans off. Then you have slavery. What is slavery? Free labor. You have a free labor force. You start off with 2 slaves. You have 2 slaves. Those slaves have as many children as you encourage them to have. Now you have possibly 12 slaves, because slaves didn't just have 1 or 2 kids. They were like animals, or at least treated like animals. So you have a perpetually growing labor force. You have a labor force, you have land that many of these people, most of these people, got for free. Then, once you work them to free, you build up the agriculture of the South. The North is industrialized, but the agriculture of the South is being built up. This is giving these people generational wealth. But there's an issue because the land is expanding, and Lincoln, who was thinking about the power in Congress, like you have today, the Republicans and the Democrats, was thinking about how it could be advantageous to the North, which is what he represented, being from Illinois. What it could be, how could it be advantageous to the North? So he said that we're going to continue to expand the land, but we're not going to allow slavery. And the South is like, if you all don't expand slavery, then our influence in Congress is going to become little and little, because the northern lands are going to be more industrialized, and they're going to have more votes in Congress than we are in the South. You have the Civil War. You think that the Civil War is about liberating slaves. It is not about liberating slaves. Lincoln says that if I could preserve the Union, and I'm not quoting him verbatim, if I can preserve the Union, I would rather preserve the Union than to go into this war to liberate these slaves. But he knew he had to liberate some slaves. He knew he had to let some of these slaves go. especially when the South was kicking their ass, because wasn't no wars fought in Illinois, wasn't no wars fought in Michigan, wasn't no wars fought in Ohio. They were fought south of the Mason-Dixie line, and that was the South's area. They knew the terrain. So what did he do in order to provide an equalizer? He liberated the slaves with the Emancipation Proclamation, encouraging the liberated slaves to either flee the South, which would have depleted their resources because they didn't have that free labor force, and it would have encouraged those in the South that were slaves to come to fight for the North. Get the slaves to fight for the North. They know the fucking land better than anybody. They farm that land. They work that land. They toil that land. So we don't know that terrain, but slaves do. So the liberation of slaves had absolutely nothing to do with just moral consciousness. It was a political thing that they did in order to gain advantage over the South. Moving forward, how did white people get so rich? Well, let's talk about the next step of what happened. Once you have the liberation of slaves, you have this workforce that leaves the South, leaving all this land to be tilled. Now, technically, if you didn't have me as a slave for 20 years and I'm liberated and I leave your plantation, 9 times out of 10, I'm either going where I can take care of myself, I'm going where there's some work, I'm going where the living conditions are a little bit better, but motherfucker, I'm leaving. I'm getting the fuck out of here. So in leaving, I'm basically homeless. What do you have? You have the black laws. You have the black laws that are basically legislation that was enacted to take your ass off the plantation where you were liberated and put you back on the plantation. And they had these things called vagrancy laws, where if you were homeless, if you was out on the street, if you didn't have no job, you could be apprenticed to a plantation to work off your debt to society, right back into slavery. And this went on in the South. And it was a compromise made by those in power in the North. Okay, we're going to allow this to happen. We don't want to fight no more. We've lost hundreds of thousands of men. The issue is settled. We're going to liberate the slaves. But we're going to continue to allow you to have your portion of slavery. And I guess it's the 13th Amendment that said that abolished slavery except it as a form of punishment for crimes. Well, if you create a system where you can just by birth make a person a criminal, then you can put them back into that system of slavery without really calling that. So again, you have this free labor force. White people, y'all are getting rich. Y'all are getting rich because a lot of you all come from that. You move out of you move out of Reconstruction the South. You have blacks who have accumulated a bunch of wealth, a lot of wealth. Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. The Rosewood community in Florida. Slocum, Texas. You have all of these communities popping up of liberated slaves or former slaves, descendants of slaves who left that portion of the country to form their own communities. They shop among themselves. Pay attention. They shop among themselves. They spend money with each other. They bank with each other. They patronize each other's business. They look out for each other's community, and the communities blossom. But then you have Jim Crow laws. You have Jim Crow laws that come forward and are designed to stifle that growth. Can't drink at the water fountain. Can't be served. You got to serve at the back door. You can't go to our schools. So we had our own schools. And what happened was you had black-owned banks that popped up. The people were putting their money in the banks. And when white people just got tired of seeing that the blacks were doing better than theirs, they moved in to destroy it. Let's just flatten their economy. We ain't going to kill them off. They still got to eat, which means they got to shop with us. There wasn't before. We're going to take the money out of their banks. We're just going to close the doors of the bank, take all their wealth. And then what they make going forward, which they were putting in their own banks, they're going to bring it over to us. Their restaurants, we ain't going to treat them well. We're going to force them to come over to us. You have from Jim Crow, you had the sharecropping industry, predatory lending. Anybody ever heard of an old person talk about their grandmama used to be a sharecropper? Okay, here's what sharecropping was. And I'm going to read it from the book. Based on the agricultural model outlined in the Jewish holiday book Talmud and established in ancient Babylonia, sharecropping is a system of farming based on endless debt bondage. It was set up throughout the South to continue to reap and amplify the profits and the horrors of plantation slavery long after its legal end. The ex-slaves, highly skilled in agriculture, never received the 40 acres and a mule they were promised by General O.O. Howard, the founding father of Howard University, in order to build their own independent economic foundation. Instead, they were forced into a system that benefited mostly Jewish immigrant merchants who had flooded into the South from Europe after the Civil War to exploit the highly profitable cotton economy. Black farmers were prevented from owning land and were given instead a share of the old plantation lands they had worked as slaves to grow cotton, corn, wheat, rice as tenant farmers. Using debt and usury as a post-slavery whip and chain, usury is interest on a loan. The sharecropping system legally and unscrupulously tied each black farmer to the merchant who supplied him with seeds, tools, food, and clothing. Not only did we not get our 40 acres and a mule when we left the plantation, we didn't get nothing.
Can you repeat the line about Howard University, please? I want to hear that one more time.
Okay. The ex-slaves, highly skilled in agriculture, never received the 40 acres and a mule they were promised by General O.O. Howard. General O.O. Howard was the white founder of Howard University. It was not Ulysses S. Grant who promised the 40 acres and a mule.
So, this famous university, Howard University,
was named after the white dude?
it's named after the white dude who
Yeah.
promised black
48
people something that he never gave them.
He promised it, Grant reneged.
Got you.
General Ulysses S. Grant, who became President Grant, reneged on that promise. Once the farmer harvested the valuable crops, the merchant sold the products on the international market, reaping astronomical profits. When time came to pay the black cropper, the merchant told him that he had run up a debt for his purchases and that he owed the merchant money. You sharecrop this damn land. You lend them tools. You give them seeds. They work the land, they till the land, they bring up the crops. You take the crops and sell them. When it's time for you to pay the sharecropper, you tell him, wait a minute, hold up. I don't know you no money. How you think you got them fucking seeds? You ain't had no tools when you was working out here. The clothing, I gave you clothes. You owe me for that. So how about this? This is how we going to work this deal out. You going to till this next crop. And you know crops coming to season. You're going to till this next crop, and then I tell you what, we going to be square. But what happens? Still need seeds, still need tools, still need clothes, still need housing. So once that new crop comes, he sells that on the international market again, getting all kinds of profit because, of course, he ain't paying you for shit. And when you like, okay, now can I get paid? Wait, whoa. Didn't I just tell you I gave you seeds? I just gave you clothes. I gave you you still owe me. And it was a cyclical motion. I did my family tree and found out that I had an ancestor on my grandmother's side who owned 70 acres of land in Alabama. And right before the turn of the century, the U.S. government via the United States Army came and just took his land. And he saved up and he purchased this land in a short period of time after being a liberated slave. But they came and took the land. And my family was like, well, you need to go ahead and find out if we can get that back. Nah, it's gone. You can forget that shit. But that was a common practice. the sharecropping industry was a common practice. And you have great international banks like the Rothschild banks, Lehman Brothers, you know, reap profits in this manner, which I'm going to move forward to that quickly because I know we're going to be running out of time shortly. Then you got the religious policy. You force a religion on people and tell these people that they're a cursed son of Ham because we was allowed to be Christian. We were forced to be Christians, which made us inferior. You have labor unions. We were discriminated there because after slavery, who was the labor force? The slaves. And while slaves were allowed to work and we weren't paid, when whites came home from the war and they wanted to learn these damn trades, they would learn these trades, but they would realize that the slaves had more experience and more skill sets to them. So they formed unions to make sure that they were properly paid, they were properly compensated for their labor in order to, you know, make money, and they kept the blacks out. So the union comes in and shut the job down and say, we got to work here. We're the union force. We're not going to let nothing happen. We're going to block these Negroes from coming into the job, from working. You're going to hire us. And then they don't let the black people in. So what happens to a skilled person who doesn't have any place that he can apply his skills? What good is it if you being a carpenter if you don't have anywhere to go to sell your skill set? You're going to lose it. So you have the unions that did that. Then you have white domestic terrorism. White domestic terrorism is a result of what happened in Rosewood, what happened in Greenwood, what happened in Slocum. Anytime we got ahead, you know, and became competitors, white people shut that shit down. They completely shut it down. Excuse me? With violence, exactly. You had a grocery store, they come in and they wreck it. You have a community, they come in and destroy it. The men try to fight, they kill them off. They don't run you off the land because they need you as a source of income. White domestic terrorism. All these damn riots always start because some white woman say a black man raped her, or a black man tried to assault her. That was always the catalyst. It happened in Rosewood. It happened in Greenwood. It happened in Tulsa. You know, it happened all over the United States. It happened with Emmett Till. He was supposed to have whistled at that woman, and she finally came forward and said that that was a lie. They ain't locked her ass up. She's still alive. But the dudes that her husband or her brother or somebody whoever killed Emmett Till, she said that, you know, she told them the truth, that she felt sorry for them, but you lied in the first place. But this was the result. Terrorism. You have the Compromise of 1877. The Compromise of 1877 is arguably the most devastating single government action in the history of blacks in America. This is when a group of politicians convened at the Wormley Hotel in Washington, D.C. to attempt to resolve the deadlocked presidential election of 1876 between Ruther B. Hayes and Samuel Tilden. They agreed that if Hayes were awarded the presidency, he would remove government protection of the black ex-slaves in the South and allow the former Southern slaveholding class to return to power. This is the exact point in history when American whites collectively decided that black emancipation was a mistake. And from the point forward, blacks would never have freedom, justice, and equality in American society. White privilege. You have the Asian Exclusion Acts, Plessy versus Ferguson. President Woodrow Wilson, probably one of the most racist presidents in U.S. history, next to Donald Trump. For those of you all don't know about President Woodrow Wilson's exploits, please go and read up on him. He allowed the Ku Klux Klan, he was a member of the Klan. He allowed them to march in Washington, D.C. Proud Klansman. Public education. Public education is based off of property taxes. If you are herding black people into a ghetto or into a poor area, they don't own property, or the property that they own isn't that valuable, you can't assign that much to it in property taxes. The school system don't get the property taxes that would fund them to give them good books, to give them the programs that they have. That's why we have in a lot of urban areas, the school systems are terrible because the people don't own the property that would allow them to bring in the property tax system and fund a good system. Let's keep moving. White privilege. Y'all think y'all don't have it. It's ridiculous. Citizenship and immigration. You allow others to come in, give them a head start, give them a plot of land. Same way you did with the European when they came in. Allow them to come into a community. You won't allow them to come into a white community, but you allow them to go into communities of color, black and brown, particularly black. You see a lot of Arab stores in the black community. You see a lot of Jewish stores in the black community. You see some of everybody in the black community that you don't see in these white communities with these stores, selling them food that ain't no good, selling it to them at a higher price, being disrespectful to women, being disrespectful to kids. It's all systematic. How that plays into a part, you have the Homestead Act. For 300 years, billions of dollars worth of Native American lands were granted to whites alone. Other huge blocks of land were sold to whites for only $1 per acre. Federal programs like the Preemption Act of 1830 and the Mineral Leasing Act of 1920 and many state programs were used to confiscate Indian land and give to Caucasian settlers. Y'all been giving shit your whole existence in America. You haven't really had to pay for anything. Nothing. This is a 1,600 meter race, and you've been given a fucking 1,200 meter head start, and you're sitting back wondering, how do I have privilege? No, you didn't get all those things, but all of those things were set in place so you and your kind can have these damn privileges that everybody else has to catch up on. You have Farmers Home Administration, the FHA. We know what's been happening recently where farmers weren't getting the loans. And they won the lawsuits, and they were awarded money, but the government didn't pay them out. President Obama was the one who finally released the money to them. But you have farmers who get subsidies, and they weren't getting them. The white farmers were getting them. The black farmers weren't getting them. So what was the black farmers doing with their land when they came farming? They were letting it go. Because I can't afford, if I can't get the subsidies and the things that I need to maintain this land and to bring about a good crop, and to produce a product to sell, then you're going to lose your land. Black farmers lose their land again. Shit, man. Look, I want to go. I would love to go 2 hours on this book, but I need you all to get it. Seriously, because there are so many advantages that white people have in this country that they're just oblivious to. And then there are a lot of things that black people have been subjected to that we are oblivious to. Streetz is talking, 301-288-3100. Give me a call and take a short break. My mouth is dry and my breath's starting to stink. We'll be right back.
Don't come on blood clot short was my thing. You see me I say? Because I man don't want to hear none of the fuck we have to fuck up my top. Yeah, I remember the man quite have the money, you know I'm large already.
Yes sir, and I'm out to get this paper in 8 years. You gon' stop me, you gon' need church and Jehovah. You are witnessing the T-A-K-E over. I ain't waiting for no...
It's
my destiny. It's my destiny. It's my destiny. I'm on the road for better things, that's my destination. And I will get to it, that's my dedication. And my flight's gonna land when it's time, that's my mind on patience, so no minute will be wasted. It's gonna be a celebration, minus the caviar. Like a trip with no luggage and no carry-on. We've been in the hood for so long. It's only right to say hi to the birds and say so long to the late night harassing, coming from the popo. Below average living, shorty sniffing on that cocoa. Money moving on slow-mo. Everybody on the same shit, so who's there to call on? My mom's working 2 jobs, keep food and customer service. Bills so high, she gotta stay customer working. And I'm a baby boy, a soldier. I found that recipe. To get her out of here is my destiny. Destiny, destiny, destiny. It's my destiny, 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 destiny. It's my destiny, 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 destiny. It's my destiny, 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 destiny. It's my
synthesis, the synthesis, the synthesis.
I'm not talking about my ex-girls, this is just the meanings of the word. Everything consists of it. Everything I want for myself, I'm destined to get it. And when I have it, I'm definitely gonna defend it. I'm a focused artist, no matter what you take from me. I'm the definition of it, nigga, you gotta love it. I'm running a 7-game series minus the subbing. See me go hard, you can say he bout something. Doing the cream to the doors of opportunity. I appreciate the negative of my community, cause it taught me not to settle. That's why my audio tunes on another channel, volume on another level. My scriptures is scripting. No way you get this prescription injured running with persistence. And it's my heart, my honor, and the best of me to get nothing less, cause this is my destiny. Destiny, destiny, destiny. It's my destiny, 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 destiny. It's my destiny, 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 destiny. It's my destiny, 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 destiny. It's my
synthesis, the synthesis, the synthesis.
Believe in it, you'll see winning. Instead of outside of the box, you'll be in it, so see vision. If you doubt it, don't even come around it. You couldn't stomach it, so we can't ultrasound it. I'm no puppet, no strings attached. Just a fit it in my mind is the trick under the hat. The child of the city, the other side of Manhattan. Where recession's hitting hard, plus I'm still black. I gotta hustle hard like Mano. They trying to give me a space the size of a manhole. Got people to feed, plus I'm a man though. Why you think I'm so smart, constructing my plans for I'm gonna be successful, to stay above water. And my voice is a flip, 2 levels above your quarters. And this my heart and a recipe to get myself out of here. I gotta do it cause it's my destiny. Destiny, destiny, destiny. It's my destiny, 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 destiny. It's my destiny, 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 destiny. It's my destiny, 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 destiny. It's my.
Okay, man, I had to apologize. I got mad as shit reading that. I don't mean to be that way, bro. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Look, this is TJ the Chicago Kid. Y'all pussy ass better call up to this fucking show. Because I'm looking at motherfucker 1,272 people that have looked at this damn video, and not one of you funky ass motherfuckers have picked up the phone and called to help me get through this damn show. Y'all know I'm motherfucking retarded. I ain't got no goddamn help on this show. It's just me and Trump. He's sitting back laughing. He motherfucker look like he high. And I need some help. Shit. So, back to what I was saying. I had to stop reading the book. You all can go pick this book up from Amazon. It's called How White Folks Got So Rich, the Untold Story of American White Supremacy. White people, I encourage you to buy this book. Black people, I think it is required reading. You should know what the fuck is going on. So, Trump, I got some ideas, man, that we can implement in order to get our shit together. Because like I've said plenty of times, and I don't want this to turn into the super pro-black show, because, you know, you got a bunch of, and this is my, y'all might, those of you that might hear this for the first time, know that this came from me. You have a bunch of black soap Sufis that be out here black about everything. Too black. Look, I have African the continent on my chest. I'm on my head. I got the black power. I'm just as pro-black as everybody else. But sometimes y'all go too far about the shit about everything. So some people are going to have to take that and suck it up. Look,
I think we too sensitive. Everything, like for instance, the Dove commercial. People took that way, way, way out left field because they only saw one part of the commercial. They didn't see the whole commercial. So maybe it's just me, but I didn't take it as a racist thing.
I like the people that are boycotting Dove soap. I love the fact that people are boycotting Dove soap and still watching NFL games. I mean, these are the black soap Sufis.
Yeah,
they will be upset about one thing and contradict themselves in the next minute.
Or they will post on social media about everything and do nothing.
Right, they sit on there. I mean, it is like, you know, I wish you motherfucking supervisors would put some key logs on your goddamn computer to see what the fuck you all are doing, because y'all ain't doing shit that you're supposed to be doing at work, and you definitely ain't doing shit when you're not at work. So, 301-288-3100. I was thinking, and I've read Garvey, I've read Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Farrakhan, Malcolm X, you know, different civil rights people. I read Dr. Claude Anderson. I listen to Dr. Boyce Watkins. I listen to a lot in regards to things that go on with the community. Here's the thing. You have racism, white supremacy. You had this. And like I said, I promoted this show and saying that I was going to be a little more serious than I've been in past shows. So please bear with me right now. You have white supremacy. White supremacy ain't going nowhere because we ain't got the nuts to kill it.
Racism ain't going nowhere.
Racism ain't going nowhere. Systematic racism is there, but systematic racism can be thwarted. It can be stymied if you create another system to combat it. Not necessarily to combat it, but there are just certain behaviors that have been socially engineered inside the black community that we behave in that allows us to be victims to white supremacy, that allows us to be victims to systematic racism, that allowed us to just be victims of racism. And until we do something, till we create something, till we establish something of our own, controlled by us, we're going to constantly be having the same bitch fest. So I'm going to throw out a couple of ideas of what we could do in order to get our shit together. And one of the first things I'm saying is what we're doing right now. Y'all might think this is like a little puss-ass podcast radio station, but this is what we call media. We complain about how we are portrayed in the media. We complain about the misinformation that is given about us in the media, the misinformation that's given to us to train. We have to create our own media. I say that first, not because this is what I'm doing and this is what Trump is doing. I'm saying that because that is so fucking important. We have to have a black CNN controlled by us. We have to have a black MSNBC controlled by us. Hell, we even need to have a black Fox controlled by us, financed by us. Trump, do you get any outside funding for this show?
No.
You don't get no outside corporate funding.
Zero.
So that means you control 100% of what goes on here, right?
Exactly.
It's your vision. You can put the restrictions and limitations on it if you want to. You obviously are asleep at the wheel because you let me do what the fuck I do for 2 hours. I mean, but we need this. I was having a conversation. Well, not even a conversation. Was interacting with the guy Zoe Williams. And Zoe Williams has what's called a voice of reason. Listen to his show. I love Corey Holcomb's show. If anybody listened to me, know that Corey Holcomb has an influence on my stupid ass behavior. But you have to have your own media source.
And those on FM radio and all that, that doesn't count.
Right.
Because they're controlled.
They're controlled by what's called the FCC.
Exactly.
And they can issue fines on certain things. You can say certain things. You can't say certain things. And what happens is that when you are in control of that. You can have you people that don't advertise with you aren't allowed to influence you. People, you don't have to worry about nobody boycotting outside your station. You don't have to worry about somebody saying, if you're going to have this person on your show or you're going to talk about this particular subject, you're going to have your funding pool. For example, people post a lot on my website, on my page, articles I see on my social media timeline, stuff from I call them very moist brothers, but it's very smart brothers, run by Damon Young. This is my revelation. Damon Young ended up putting his website on the Roots platform. Okay? And everybody see the Roots have a lot of black articles. So you think. But the Roots is owned by Univision. What is Univision? Univision is a Spanish-owned company out of Mexico. We got a call coming in? 301-283-100. Calling. What's your name? Where you calling from? 301-288-3100. Streetz Iz Talking Radio. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Oh, this is Denise.
Hi, Denise. This is Denise the Beast, everybody. How are you, dear?
I am fine. How are you today?
I'm good. What you want to talk about?
All right, you got a lot going on your show today.
I know.
Lots of people to digest. It's a whole lot.
I know.
But I just wanted to make 3 points about this discussion on white privilege and wealth. And I think there are 3 important things that we as black people need to know about this conversation. And that's the very first thing is when you described it as a race and how if it's I think you said a 16-meter race and they're starting off at the 12th meter. Well, the thing that we have to understand is we won't ever catch up because when the race is being run, it's not like the dominant culture is no longer running or they stopped at the side of the road to take a break or they're just going to sit it out. So we'll never play catch up. So that's the first thing. Mm-hmm. However, you made a very good point when you were talking about the Asian community. And they didn't exactly play catch up. What they did was figure out how to function and thrive in this paradigm called capitalism/racism. And so the third thing is if we're looking to figure out how we as black people can thrive, in this paradigm, that's a community that we can learn from. And I think one of the things that we definitely see in the Asian community, which we don't always exhibit as a collective, is one, discipline. This wanting to have instant gratification. And we all understand that that's a characteristic of an oppressed people, but it's something that we have to figure out, learn how to get out of. And so this is how we find ourselves being the number one consumers, this instant gratification thing. The other thing that we could learn from the Asian community in terms of how they function is really holding on to culture. And we struggle with that. We don't really know what it is and that kind of thing. So we gotta figure it out. But there's certainly lessons to be learned, and there's certainly ways that we can function and thrive.
Okay, thank you, Denise, for calling in. That was Denise the Beast. That was my guest from last week. I'm glad she called in. She's right. We can learn a lot from the Asian community. We can learn a lot from simply looking at ants. You can look at ants and see that the ant does his job. He just does his job. He's not concerned about the next person's job. He's not concerned about what the queen is doing. He's not concerned about what the soldier ants is doing. He has a particular job and he does that job. And if he falls, somebody else picks it up. The first thing I said was media. The second thing I said was black businesses, black-owned businesses. We have to stop this thing where we tear down black businesses. Jesus Christ. I've been a black-owned business owner for 19 years, and I can see it irritates me to no end how a person, I got this dude I know named BJ, corny, from Chicago. Sadly, I have to claim him. But BJ makes it a point to Every time he has a bad experience in the black-owned businesses, he comes and he talks about it, and he highlights the fact that it's a black-owned business. As if the only business that gives you bad service or produces a bad product is black-owned business. Comcast is not black-owned. They give you shitty service. Sprint is not black-owned. They give you shittier service. And what happens is you complain about, you know, the slow service or the attitude of a person in a black-owned restaurant, but then you'll go to an Asian restaurant and you'll talk to them through bulletproof glass. So what we have to do is we have to patronize black-owned businesses. The economist said that for every $100,000 that's spent in a business, it creates one job for that business. Because when you patronize a business, say for instance you had a candy store, and you put $500 worth of candy in, and all the kids in the neighborhood comes and get candy the first day. Guess what? You got to go back to the store. You got to buy more candy. And then you might not be able to do that. So you got to hire somebody to go to the store to buy the candy. So you can hire that person to go to the store to buy the candy. You fill the candy store up again. The kids in the neighborhood come the next day. They buy the candy store out, and half the time. So now you got to send that person back to the grocery store. To the store, get more candy, come back. The kids come and buy the rest for the end of the day. So you're thinking, you know what? I had to get more candy, but I can't fit it all in the store. So now you got to expand. And in expanding, you have to replicate the staff in that first store and see how it works. So you open up the second store. You fill up both stores with candy. And the kids from the neighborhood come in the candy store and they buy all the candy first day. Now you got to find somebody else for that second store to replenish that store, and on and on and on. So the more money that's spent in the business establishments, the more jobs are created. There are 44 million African-American people in this country. If we were to patronize our own businesses exclusively, like the Asian community does, we could grow our own economy, which we already spend $1.3 trillion in this country, which if you divide that 44 plus million up people, that comes out to like $24,000 a person, man, woman, and child, that's spending this economy every year. So we need to focus on locating those black businesses, locating those black services, locating those black professionals, and we need to not only patronize them, but as black business owners, we have to, once we get that influx of business, we have to make a commitment to hire our own. We're not excluding anybody, but we want to make sure that if you live in my community, I hire you. If you set up a business in my community, I patronize you. That's another thing we got to do. We got to stop tearing down black-owned businesses as black consumers, because it makes no sense why we will bitch about buying a $495 Big Baller brand tennis shoe, but we'll go spend $1,500 on some ugly-ass Balenciagos. Half of you motherfuckers don't even know who Balenciago is. So we need to do that. Focus on that. Also, we need to, and I encourage everybody to do this today. I know Killer Mike, the rapper out of Atlanta, had encouraged everybody to put their money into a black bank. And he started that last year during the election season. But if anybody that's been following me, I've been saying this since 2013, that we need to divest our money from all these banks and put them in the black-owned banks. And here's why. You have businesses, banks, the Bank of America, the Wachovias, who used to be, well, the Wells Fargo, who used to be Wachovias. You have all these banks. And if you go to these major banks, you will see, do a search, banks that have a history associated with slavery. Number one, you have a bank like Bank of America. Bank of America has a deep history. If you look at the previous manifestations of Bank of America, it can be traced back to banks that pretty much were heavily involved in slavery. And they were, you say, how were they involved in slavery? Well, they used slavery as collateral. Just like you would repossess a house, they would repossess your slaves. Ain't that a bitch? Yes, they would show, you would say, I need to borrow $30,000. Well, you know, what do you have as collateral? I have my land, I have my house, and I have about 40 slaves. And if the owner, if that debtor end up defaulting on that loan, the bank will take the house, the bank will take the land, the bank will take the slaves and resell the slaves. And these are banks that were established back then that was sold over and over and over and over and over, and today that they're the Bank of America now. Yes, history of slavery. They're the Wells Fargo now. Previously, Wachovia have a history of slavery. We need to take our money and put them in the banks. You had something that's called a Community Reinvestment Act that I guess Bill Clinton signed into law that was pushing for banks to invest and to lend in the areas that they were in. So say, for instance, a Bank of America that's sitting over in Southeast D.C. by the big chair. That Bank of America, Southeast D.C. is servicing that entire community, that black community. Everybody is a member in that community of Bank of America, right? But what they found out was that Bank of America was not giving any loans to anybody in that community where it was putting their money in that bank. They was giving loans to people over in Georgetown. People in Georgetown who don't even put their money in that bank. Now, they might have banks accounts with Bank of America, but that Bank of America in that Southeast area was diverting its funds over into Georgetown. And this is how redlining happened. Well, they weren't lending into certain communities. We need to take our money out of these white-owned banks, and we need to put our money in the black-owned banks. Same with the Hispanic community. You all have Hispanic-owned banks too. Take your money out of Bank of America. Take your money out of SunTrust. Take your money out of Citibank. Take your money out of all of these big banks that fucked up the economy and caused the crash of the economy, devaluing our homes. Put your money in the bank of the community that you own. So if you're in the Washington, D.C. area right now, I'm not saying it. I mean it. This is my industrial bank card. I got rid of my SunTrust account. I got rid of my Commonwealth One bank account. I still have maybe about $5 in Navy Federal, but I have all my money invested in industrial bank. This is where my money would go when I got some. I'm broke right now, so give to the GoFundMe no. We need to put our money in our banks. Number two, and I'm running out of time, and I'm going to try to get this together too. We have to understand that our school systems are failing because that's what they're designed to do. And we need to bite the bullet. What we need to do is we need to put our children in our own schools that will teach them the curriculum that they need to have. If anybody knows me personally, my youngest daughter, I just had her read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And she's 13 years old, about to be 13 at the end of this month. And I told her I would give her $100 to read this book. She read the book. She did me a 2-page report, and I got to quiz her on the book. At 13 years old, she was able to tell me something that I didn't even pick up from the book when I read it. She was able to explain to me the difference between being poor and being broke. There is a difference, people, between being poor and being broke. And here's the thing. I have in my house a big bookshelf of nothing but books, great books. And many of us have these books, but we'll push our children in front of a PlayStation. We'll push our children and put them in football. Put them in AAU basketball, and then wait for them to get 30, 25, 35, 45 years old to realize that they're behind to try to gain that knowledge themselves. We need to educate our children ourselves. So we're not going to open our schools. They should have a curriculum going to school. They should have an educational curriculum coming home. I know I went a little late. Those are some of the things that we should do. We got to start educating ourselves. We got to start supporting black businesses. We got to start putting our money into black-owned banks. We got to stop trashing black businesses. Again, we have 44 million black people in this country. We have $1.3 trillion that we spend in this economy every year. If you divide 44 trillion, let me see. I'm going to do a little math problem. So let's say at the average house costs $250,000, right, Trump? We have $1.3 trillion. So we got 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's 100,000. That's a million. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Divided by $250,000. If the average house costs $250,000, we can buy 1, 2, 3. We can buy maybe $52 million home, 52 million homes, $52 million houses that we could buy. Detroit is decimated. The houses there are decimated. Chicago is pretty much decimated. New Orleans is decimated. You have Houston right now, which has been damaged by the storms. We have all these cities in our communities that have dilapidated housing. Just imagine if we put our money together and we start buying them houses. There's more I could talk about that. We could discuss that in the chat, but it's time for me to go. Trump trying to put me out because he got the bubble guts and he trying to run to the bathroom and take a shit. I appreciate Denise the Beast calling in today. Next week, I'm having my surgery on Thursday. I will be here on Wednesday. So when I come back that following week and y'all got some jokes, I'm telling you, joke food, joke jujitsu, I'm a master of that shit. I hope I gave you all some kind of educational shit today. But again, I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. I got over 1,000 views today. Thank you all for who clicked on the link and listened to the show for the first time. You probably was shocked because you had your fucking speakers up at work and I started cursing and your supervisor looking at your motherfucking ass like you crazy because you ain't supposed to be looking at the damn computer. But again, I'm going to be back here again next week. I'm going to have me a cute girl in this office. I don't know who she is yet, but and we're going to have something else we're going to discuss. But this is your boy, TJ, the Chicago Kid. This is Streetz Iz Talking Radio on the RIP Radio Network. We here every Wednesday from 2 to 4. I'm going to talk to Trump because I got to get some better hours. This 2 to 4 bullshit is some pussy ass shit. I can't do nothing with it. And we're going to work this shit out. But I thank you all for listening. And I'll see you all next weekend. Bye. Bye.